Good morning, British softly locked down COVIDians. Good morning to you as the government chooses to ease restrictions. Do you feel that sense of easing? Have you been eased or are you feeling uneasy? Has it eased you that you can now meet up to 5 friends at a distance of 2 meters apart in your garden, if you happen to be lucky enough to have a garden? Has it eased you that facility to meet your friends in your garden must be clearly available to all of us, even if we live on the 42nd floor of a tower block and the play spaces are closed for our 4-year-old kids and all of the communal areas are closed? Perhaps we could meet friends at the park, but only 5 and only 2 meters away. COVIDians. British eased COVIDians. I want to share with you a little ditty that I was singing while I was having a shower, and it went a bit like this. Forgive the voice, but it's cynical, yeah, because it goes like this. Kiddy's back on Monday, kiddy's back on Monday, la 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 la, oi, la 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 la. Kiddy's back on Monday, kiddy's back on Monday, it's been fact-checked. It's been fact-checked. Kiddy's back on Monday. You're making choices on Monday. They've been fact-checked. They've been fact-checked. There you go. Softly locked down COVIDians. I was fact-checked on the Great Yarmouth Mercury. Wow. I've been fact-checked. Oh, clearly. The government's own scientific advisors clearly are not advising them that it's not safe to send your kids of 4 and upwards back on Monday. Clearly, SAGE, the Scientific Advisory Group experts, SAGE. Isn't SAGE such a lovely term? SAGE makes you think of wisdom, calm, people following the science. Remember, softly locked down COVIDians. Johnson doesn't follow the science any more than Scummings followed the science of driving his car to be sure his eyesight met the driving requirement. Mr. Scummings didn't follow the science that would have said visit an optician any more than the police. Well, the police have said he is guilty of a breach of lockdown. The Prime Minister disagrees, obviously. One law for him, one for the rest of us. But COVIDians, let me tell you this, yeah? If you send your kids back, I imagine, like everybody, before all this lot restarts, and clearly it's going to have to restart sometime. I know you don't want to make your kids a sacrifice to the British economy. I know you don't want to send them back just so that you can get out there while we still have one of the highest daily death tolls in Europe. Yeah, in fact, I think the highest daily death toll in Europe. I'll show you later. But you're mad if you do. Please don't. Please show this government that there is something you are not willing to do. Now, the other associated point is this: track, test and trace. It was all about track, test and trace. Well, here in The Guardian from today is a little bit more on track, test and trace. Just go to Guardian It's from www.guardian.org.com rather. And here's a key worker who was supposed to be training on this track and trace app that hasn't even gone live, hasn't even passed the requisite security checks by the data protection people. But here's what somebody who trained on that says at the end of an article. The other thing they say quite clearly is there was no proper training for their potential role. It was non-existent. They were taught a little bit about data protection. They weren't even trained on using the systems they're supposed to be using. They spent most of their day waiting for contact from a trainer or a supervisor and doing nothing, sat down at home before their computer. But here's what this person says. To this day, I remain a key worker, paid £10 an hour to sit in a chat room, that's with their trainers, alone, lost, without support or help. Despite what the government is saying, it seems the same relentless problem with the system is another pandemic without a cure. Motivated as I am to help people out during this difficult time, and after 2 weeks of doing pretend work on the track and trace program, I have decided to quit and try and find a real way to help people. If Boris or Matt Hancock are reading this, I'd ask them to please go into the chat rooms you've created and read what people are saying. You'll see a lot of anger and confusion from a lot of people, and none of them have any faith that we're properly set up to fight any infection rate from this pandemic. There you go. What more can you say? Sending the kids back was all supposed to be about track and trace working. Total deaths per million people. Yeah, I told you I would show you this one. That is, let's get it there. Well, you probably can't see in any great detail because of all that damn reflection, but that big red one at the top is us in the UK. Okay, total deaths per million people. What else can we show you today? There you go. Chucky Mark says that Michael Gove's Twitter account likes picture of porn before it's swiftly deleted. Well, that's probably about as good as trying to get that on there. But anyway, that is what my man says. Yeah, Gove. While all this has been going on, poor old Michael Grove may have been having a 5-knuckle shuffle. Mr. Gove may have been, until it was deleted, bashing the bishop. Mr. Gove might well have been doing something very, very naughty and putting it on his Twitter feed as well. So I'll kind of leave it at that today. There's all kinds of fake assurances going round. It's clear one thing only is clear, as I said at the beginning. Johnson follows the money. We will be one of the first to unlock. We were one of the last to lock down. But this kind of easing into unlocking is bullshit. Yeah? Medics are warning you there is a second wave coming. Your vile Prime Minister, who does not give a toss about ordinary people like you and me, particularly if you're sick or disabled, because this might kill you. And he's delighted if it kills you, because society won't have to be there to support you anymore with handouts from the public purse. Mr. Johnson is delighted that it's killing the future pensioners, present pensioners. Mr. Johnson is delighted at that death toll in care homes. He's absolutely delighted. He wants it to get bigger, because as more people die, his fascist dictatorship, for we now live under a dictator in a dictatorship, as that death toll grows, he can give more of the money that he would have used to support them to his billionaire friends, his billionaire dictator friends, yeah? And what happens to the sick, the weak, the old? Well, they die, yeah? And your kids, please, don't lower them into the great educational coal mine just to see if it's safe for the rich to go back later, yeah? Teachers, have you got a head that is so competitive and so scared that they'll lose their job if they don't open up? Well, all I can say is if you've got a head like that, don't go back yourself. Please don't. We're being lied to, and the death rate is rising. Bye-bye.